Hey, Shalom. First off, I want to start off by saying all praises, honor, and glory is due unto Yahweh by Hashem Shai by Hashem Kakadash. That's all praises to the world calls God, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem meaning in the name, and Yahweh Shai meaning the name of the only begotten Son. Also want to say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to those who elect preaching his word in truth and sincerity. Brother Tazabah will in another video to edify. And I wanted to go on this article, right? It says the crisis in the Red Sea threatens to disrupt global supply chains even more than the pandemic, right? And during the pandemic, we had niggas lining up at the store waiting to get in for 40 an hour, hour and a half plus just to get toilet paper. So what's going to come off the back of this is going to be worse. Remember the scriptures study the plagues are sent and they shall not return once they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Well, supply chain shortages, lack of goods, right? That's going to cause what? Layoffs, business closures, because it was doing the same thing during the pandemic. They weren't able to get parts in for auto repairs, right? This thing and Esau, right? Like the scriptures say, let me get it, man. Yeah, this is Job 5:13. It says, "He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the forward is carried headlong," and that's what's happening. Right? This devil, his plan was to use this as a mean to get his plans going and use these wars as a mean to do these things. And now the supply disruption is actually affecting all these Edomite nations in ways that they didn't foresee. So, through the spirit, I believe a lot of the plans of this devil is actually falling apart bit by bit because where this devil thought he controlled, the Lord's pulling the strings, right? And these supply chain shortages is going to mean all out hell in Babylon the Great America, because now you have these migrants coming up here and they need help, and the crunch is on the people because their finances aren't great anymore, right? You're not earning enough to live, rent's high, layoffs are starting to build up, right? Student loan payments started up again, and so you're gonna see a level of all-out hell hit this place. So I'm gonna read some. It says, "Do you remember the supply chain problems that we experienced during the darkest days of the COVID pandemic? Well, now we are being warned that the crisis in the Red Sea could actually disrupt global supply chains to an even greater degree. Needless to say, this comes at a already bad time because the U.S. economy has really been struggling lately. The U.S. and UK are desperate to resolve this crisis, and so they have been bombing the living daylights out of the Houthis in Yemen. We haven't seen anything quite like this from the U.S. military since the early days of the wars of Afghanistan and Iraq. On Monday, there was yet another round of air missile strikes." Right? So wars going on, and these things are intensifying. It's just the U.S. and the U.K. conducted a large-scale air and missile strikes on Houthi rebel facilities across Yemen on Monday, according to a joint statement stepping up operations against the militant group as it vows to continue attacking ships in the Red Sea. Salakia. The U.S. and U.K. Militaries, with support of Australia, Bahrain, Canada, and Netherlands, hit 8 Houthi targets in Yemen in response to the Houthis' continued attack. According to the joint statement, from the countries involved. The precision strike, the precision strikes were intended to disrupt the degree and capabilities of the Houthis to use uh, you, Houthis use to threaten global trade and the lives of innocent mariners. The statement said, "Unfortunately, so far the strikes don't seem to seem to be doing much good. The Houthis continue to attack commercial vessels in the Red Sea, and this is greatly frustrating U.S. officials. You see, things are getting out of Esau's control, right? Nothing that he does is actually working, right? Like the scriptures say, will now cease to spoil." Let's get that. This is yeah. Isaiah 33:1, it says, woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled. And America has been that main place, the UK, Great Britain, all these Edomite nations, right, have spoiled, and they weren't spoiled. They've robbed, pillaged, taken artifacts, royal garments, crowns, and worn them at their coronations. Queen Elizabeth on her deathbed, she was getting cursed out. These devils have spoiled, and they weren't spoiled. It says, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. These other nations, man, they lorded, they idolized America so much, and look what they did in return. Bomb the hell out of them, take their goods and resources, put them in a corner, set up coups against them, right? Make it so that the goods and services that are necessary for just everyday living in a global system are sold at cheap rates for them, so that they're never able to get on any financial level to separate. So this devil has dealt treacherously. He says, when thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And that's what's happening. His ability to actually spoil is being taken out of his hand. So what? Now the spoiling is starting to fall upon him. This stuff that's going on in the Red Sea, right? That stuff is a show that he is losing that power. When thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. And that's what's gonna happen. Hey, when the going gets tough, these people, like the scriptures say, that gave their kingdom to the beast for 1 hour to rule with them, those same nations that agreed with this devil, when it gets real drastic, they're gonna leave him. They're gonna leave him. Right? This is where we're at. Prophecy is coming to pass. And he has no clue how bad it's actually getting, and it's falling away from this devil. 2 Ezra 15:15, for the sword and the destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And that's happening. You got all these migrants coming in. All right, let me grab this one to build on that. This is where is it at? Jeremiah 51:14. It says, Yahweh of hosts has sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up a shout against thee. That's that invading force. That invading force. Honestly, man, that's all these migrants coming up here. You don't know who they're letting in. So when the scripture's talking about in the second Ezra 15, one people shall stand up against another and swords in their hands, you're going to have to count the mass numbers of those migrants that are more than likely foreign militaries, right? Some of them, they're even talking about giving them the ability to join the police force to try to pull up these ranks. And you don't think they're going to take that opportunity to exploit? For there should be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard the kings nor princes in the course of their actions to stand in their power. You see, when in the beginning with CVID, right? When people couldn't get toilet paper, people were fighting over toilet paper in the damn store. So how much more will that war just for goods as food, water, right? Clothing, generators. How much more drastic is that violence going to be? Right? How much more are people going to justify themselves to do whatever they feel? It says they shall not regard their kings nor princes in the course of their actions to stand in their power. Right? They're not going to care what these presidents, these mayors, the police are saying. They're going to take it upon themselves. A man shall desire to go into the city and shall not be able, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And when these supply chains are breaking down like that, that's what's coming next. Because you have many nations knowing that their yields are down and you're coming into that time of war. So what are they doing? They're not exporting as much goods. And then you have one of the largest areas for international traffic for goods to go is being shut off from the West. Imagine how those goods are going bad to where they're never able to hit the market. Right? This is going to cause people to run into each other's houses. This is going to cause that upheaval, right? Remember, the scriptures tell you the full storehouses. Second Ezra 6 and 22, it says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall be suddenly found empty. And this is the time. Lord will, this could be the time. You even had the one of the NATO allies sit there and warn people to start prepping and getting food together, batteries and everything. So at least you can go for 72 hours. Well, in the spirit, I mean, if you want to put those things together, that's good. If you have the ability, you got the funds to be able to put a little more to the side and buy a little more and put some things together, that's great. But if you don't have the Lord, you're through. Right? So they're telling you right now that things are about to come. It says, a trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man hear it, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs of the fountain shall stand still. What are the springs of the fountains? Right? Your plumbing systems, right? And trade routes. Right? Those springs of the fountain standing still, man. That water going in your pipe, when that power goes out, EMP hits, that's it. That water's off. It says, and in 3 hours they shall not run. You see? So this is the time we're coming to, man. This is the time we're in. Where great want and need is going to be on the people, man. But keep your eyes on the prize. Shalom.